Hello everyone and welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, and today we're going to be looking at a hypothetical matchup scenario of me versus Let's Talk Elections. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe to On Point Politics for #1 stop for all things polling and elections in the United States. Now, this is clearly not a accurate, 2024 election prediction, but is merely just pinning me against the YouTuber Let's Talk Elections. I'm almost certain that he would pick Governor Wes Moore out of the state of Maryland to be his vice presidential running mate, and I would pick Zeldin, the New York Republican candidate governor, who recently lost against Kathy Hochul, to be my running mate. For the safe Republican states, we'd have the state of Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, all of Nebraska being safe red, as well as Alaska, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia as well in the safe Republican column. Now, I do think that Iowa would possibly be over 15 points for me in this scenario. I do have somewhat similar positions to former President Trump when it comes to economic policy in terms of bringing the American energy back here to the United States, as well as, stopping the, overseas shipping of trade jobs. So that would kind of help me out in the Rust Belt. But I do believe that kind of building more jobs and expanding, places definitely does help with the economy, which doesn't necessarily resonate with a lot of Republicans. So my economic policies are a little bit like half and half in a sense, more conservative leaning or so. And in terms of certain issues, I am pretty, I'm pro-life for the most part. Like, I don't even think I would be as lenient on the restriction as, Trump is, to be honest. So Ethan's going to have his name is Ethan Kelly, by the way, guys. He's going to have a little bit of a boost in the popular vote and the electoral college because of that. I'm probably not going to do well in certain liberal areas across the country. I do believe I'm a Hispanic myself, and even though I wouldn't necessarily run as a Hispanic, I would probably end up doing a lot better than most presidential nominees would, because if I were to be nominated, hypothetically, I would be the first Hispanic candidate running for president at the top of a major party ticket. So it definitely would influence a couple things. Now, I think South Carolina would be in the likely column. I do think Hawaii would be safe for LTE, as well as California, Oregon, Washington. I think he wins Colorado by over 15 points. I don't think I even have a chance there. I think that, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maryland, DC, those will go safe. I do think that New Jersey, Delaware, New York, and Illinois would get more competitive. I think I would probably end up getting about 20 to 25% with African Americans, but I probably wouldn't perform as well with white voters. But I would probably end up winning Hispanics by maybe 1 to 5 points nationwide. So looking at the white vote, I probably win it by 13, 14 points, and maybe a little bit less than that. Maybe it's like 12 to 13. So definitely an underperformance from Trump in a way. But the Hispanic, group shifts and the Black American group shifts and Asian shifts are definitely going to help me in some places. I think Alaska would be about a 7-point victory for me. I think in Florida, I probably end up picking that one off by maybe 9 or so. I probably would win Miami-Dade, flip Duval, flip Pinellas County. I would do somewhat decent in Florida. I think I would win Ohio by around 11 to 13 points. I don't really think LTE would have any appeal in the Rust Belt at all. I think that in Texas, I probably win that one by possibly 10 to 11 points. I think I would do somewhat respectable in the southern border, part of the state, to the point where I probably even flip a couple counties. I do believe that we need to stop immigration for the next 20 to 30 years, and that's more hardline on immigration than former President Trump is. And so I do think on that issue, I'll probably end up performing a lot better with those kind of voters. But at the same time, I'm probably going to end up losing a lot in the suburbs, so it kind of cancels out. Maybe it is like a 7 to 8 point victory instead of 10 to 11, possibly. Maybe a 7 to 9 point victory is similar to the state of Florida as well. So that's probably what you end up seeing. Now, my improvement, obviously me doing worse with white voters isn't going to really help me in New Mexico or in a state like Illinois or even New York to an extent. Neither is Maine's first congressional district. I'll probably win Maine's second by a likely margin. I also do win the state of Minnesota, or I don't win the state of Minnesota. I think Ethan probably wins it by 9 to 10. I think he would do really well in Hennepin County. But I do think he does not win New Jersey or Delaware by over 15 points. I think I would probably make gains in some of those states. I also kind of have a hot take, but I do think Virginia would be under 5. I do think I would perform very well in some of the rural areas, and I think with Zeldin as the VP, he may be able to help me make some inroads when it comes to economic and crime issues, so that would probably end up helping me out there as well. Now, I do think if we're going to treat this as, neither, major party candidates running their incumbent, the Democrats would be the incumbent party, and so I do think New Hampshire possibly does get really close. I think it may actually go under 5 points. I think that LTE would hold strong, but I don't think he would appeal to some voters as well there as people would expect him to. I also think Maine would be under 5. So really Minnesota and New Mexico basically are voting to the left of the nation by quite a bit, mainly because of those like very liberal voters in Albuquerque and in Hennepin County. That's mainly what's driving that. Now, the state of North Carolina, I probably win that by 3 to 4. I probably end up doing really well in the rurals and do a little bit better in the suburbs. I also think with me doing a little bit better with African-American voters and kind of holding with white voters for the most part in a respectable fashion and winning Hispanics outright, I probably win Georgia by 1 to 2 points. Now, Arizona is a lost cause. I probably do not win Arizona. In fact, I think he's probably going to win. He'd probably win Maricopa by like 3 or 4, and I think he probably ends up winning the state by like 2 to 3 points, actually. So I think he would actually end up winning that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated because I think that my Rust Belt strategy or the policies up here would end up getting me elected, but I do think I would pick off Wisconsin. That I do think is the case. I do think I would win Wisconsin, and I think I would win Pennsylvania. Now, I think I also win the state of Nevada pretty easily. I think I would do well in a place like Clark County with Hispanic voters, and Nebraska second. I probably don't win that. And Michigan, I may perform better with the white working class voters up here, but I think with some suburban voters, I may not do well enough. So I probably do fall short in the state of Michigan. And so pretty much for this video, I beat LTE 286 to 252 essentially. So if you guys disagree with this, go ahead in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Make sure to go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. And if LT wants to give his own map for this, I mean, I would like to see his input on this. I feel like this is a somewhat fair and accurate assessment of what would happen. I mean, you can make the case that I win Michigan because usually the Rust Belt tends to vote together, but I think that he probably does pick off Michigan, and I probably narrowly win Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Maybe I win Wisconsin by a little bit over a point. I think I would perform well in the Wow County, so I'll actually give myself like a 1.5 victory in Wisconsin, and maybe even Georgia votes to the left of Wisconsin in this scenario. So guys, make sure to go ahead and subscribe and like the video, and make sure to go ahead and go to the description down below. We are starting a stream not that long from now with Ready Go Politics and me, and we're going to be sponsoring, SoCal strategies to conduct national polling. We are trying to help out as much as humanly possible. You see here, we have raised quite a decent amount already. So that is definitely helping out 100%. We just raised a couple of $100 in the span of a couple, basically minutes, because he just put up a post a few minutes ago. So guys, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. And I will see you guys at this stream at about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.